Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the Heat Press for Profit podcast, powered by Stalls. All of our podcasts and content and education from YouTube to our social media is built to help inspire decorators, distributors, or anybody in the apparel decorating industry, just like you watching today. Today, we have a very, very special edition of our Heat Press for Profit podcast, and that is with Jason Tompkins, Jenna Sackett, and Josh Ellsworth live from the stage immediately following the Print on Demand conference here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I got to say, even though this room now is a little bit emptier than it was maybe just 5 minutes ago, I still feel like there's energy here in this room. What do you guys think of this event and your overall impression of the past 3 days?
I won't lie to you. When Josh had this idea for the event, I thought he was a madman. I thought it was a terrible idea. I didn't think we had enough time to pull it off. And to be frank, I wasn't sure if anyone was going to show up. And the complete opposite thing happened. First off, the Stalls event team just absolutely hit a grand slam. But the people that came here, the sponsors that helped put this on, and just the expertise in the room with that energy made something I've never been a part of. Honestly, I think it's the thing I'm most proud of in my entire career to have been a part of, that we have started something that I think is going to last. It's built to last, and it's all in the thanks that people showed up, and it was just an amazing couple days.
Yeah, I heard a lot from not only like the Stalls team, the sponsors, and the attendees, that just how impressed everyone was with the caliber of people in the room. They haven't been to conferences with the type of people and the diverse business types that were in the room. And I feel like the networking that came out of this, on top of all of the knowledge and experience from it, is just unmatched all around in the industry.
Yeah, print on demand is an important topic. And so it starts with that. And there may be some of the audience, so I don't want to just miss that doesn't even know, like, what does print on demand mean? Like, what's so special about the topic that you would have a whole conference on it? And so for us, it's called print on demand. Like, that's the buzzword. That's what people know. But it's all about making only what you need exactly when you need it. And so it's on demand, period. It can be not print at all. It can be embroidery. It can be laser engraving. It can be other processes. But just the business model of not making a bunch of stuff and putting it on shelf with the hopes that it sells, but making only what you need exactly when you need it. And that's easier said than done. But we have a lot of thought leaders in the room, a lot of the companies in the room trying to solve for that and continue to grow in print on demand into more market verticals. And so those were the folks in the room all around that business model of making in the apparel segment, in the hard goods segment, the paper printing segment, et cetera.
And we had so many good conversations here on the stage, but I feel like a lot of the best benefits of this conference were out on the floor at the networking events. I think the word that we heard every single day was community, right? It's all of these innovators who have really brought print on demand full force into the industry, or decoration on demand, right? As we look at it. So with that, what's kind of the largest takeaway that you guys got from this event, or like an attendee is going to take back as an action item or plan for the future with?
That's a big one. I would say the top takeaway, because I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous, as Jason was as well, with the idea. But my top takeaway, it's worthy of a conference. Like, the topic is totally worthy of attention and thought and real effort by all of the stakeholders in the value chain. And it's equally important to everybody in the value chain. So whether that's a decorator that's fulfilling orders for their own volume, or perhaps fulfilling orders for others, or whether that's an e-commerce seller. We heard from Dave Higashi from CrowdMade that, works with YouTube creators. And so every type of different seller, all the way in through fulfillment to the unboxing. We got into packaging even a little bit, and that being part of the experience. Like, it's the whole journey of a product. And so that was my top takeaway, that, like, this is so important. And even the companies that were in it well before Stalls, that were innovators and early adopters of print on demand, they're still learning and growing and trying to, like, unlock new markets, right? Because they've climbed the mountains and in certain markets and are only experienced like single digit small growth. And they're like, okay, we have something here. How do we take that out across more market verticals? So I know that's general, but that was definitely my top takeaway.
Yeah, it's hard to speak for everyone in the room, but a lot of conversation that was happening like post like panel discussions or even some of the presentations was future of POD and where that lies in like print, right? And so we talked a lot about new product that we're going to be rolling out, but how that relates to being able to incorporate NFC and keep track of the life cycle of a garment. So one of my takeaways from talking with attendees was their attention to that and the interest in wanting to start implementing that so that they can be a part of either that sustainability message or to just keep being front of mind and top of mind of their clients through the NFC technology after they have already sold the good.
Yeah, I just loved being surrounded by the innovators of this industry and this kind of bubble within the larger printing fulfillment industry with print on demand. It's moving lightning fast, both on the print technology, the software, the way we sell. It's changing so rapidly as the landscape around us changes very rapidly, and there's so many unknowns. So the ability of this group of people here all getting together, collaborating, the community, and understanding that there's a lot of unknowns in the future, but together through innovation and together through collaboration, we're going to be able to solve this, elevate the POD industry, but elevate the entire industry as a whole, not just POD. It's the entire fulfillment industry, no matter what the decoration technique is. It's just incredibly exciting being surrounded by so many awesome people.
Absolutely. And when we talk about kind of elevating the industry up, it was so interesting to hear all of these different segments that impact decoration on demand or print on demand. Jenna, you mentioned sustainability, right? But we went even further from sustainability and hearing about how so many different brands are putting transparency into the sourcing process, into the manufacturing process. Then we looked at, the art of packaging, the art of product design. Jenna, I know you always talk about that branded experience, right? It's that brand identity that it isn't just a t-shirt, right? And avoiding the brand fill and wanting to truly create that it's in the top drawer, right, item, right? Do you have any of those kind of like, what do you think was the stamp on that session that you did on that panel?
When it comes to sustainability,
the innovations for profit, printing, and our planet.
Yeah, I think that in general, that sustainability can mean a lot of things. It can mean more organic cotton. It can mean more water-based inks or different dyes, right? But if that's what you want to do, you have to own that and be a part of that if that's going to be your brand identity. But it can be just as simple as made-to-order product, right? Josh mentioned we're eliminating stocking inventory and keeping that on shelves, hoping that it sells, right? And print-on-demand technology speaks to sustainability in a way that's being able to do 1 or 1,000, right? But it's made to order instead of just inventorying. So if that's your brand identity and you want to hone in on sustainability, do it. Know that there is a price tag that goes along with it and make sure your customers are aware of that. But if you're looking to move forward with sustainability, you can do that with the technology you already have and eliminate brand fill items by just producing made-to-order items. And
you talked about premium too, and that premium looks different for a lot of folks.
It does, yeah. Yeah, premium can mean a 100% cotton heavyweight tee to a fashion wear brand, whereas premium could mean Travis Matthew polo, right, to a corporation. Yeah, so premium is tailored specific to an audience that you're serving. Knowing what your audience is and how to price that product and push that product is the way to do it.
Now, when we talk about premium too, I know one of the largest buzzes of the past several days was the brand new Liquid 3D. Josh, would you care to share a little bit about that process and what it means to the print-on-demand industry?
When's this video going to publish?
Tomorrow.
Then no, I can't share.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing with you, Dave. I had you for a second there, didn't I?
You sure did. You got me.
It was like,
Really
we're going to have to cut that out of the video.
Edit that?
No, sorry. I had to do it. But no, the Liquid 3D product. So let me see where to start. So going back to premium, and just dovetailing off of that is premium can mean the blank that we're decorating, and Jenna referenced a couple great examples there, but it also can mean the decoration technique. And really, Liquid 3D is what we call print-on-demand elevated for apparel, for soft goods. And so this is an actual industry's first 3D printed heat transfer. So, 3D printing, right? We're not just using the word 3D to say dimensional. We're talking about actual 3D printing. And so I want to call that out because there was some confusion around that. And so being able to 3D print a heat transfer that can then be applied to today headwear and bags and unlocked at quantities of one. So it meets the model of no MOQ, making only what you need exactly when you need it, serving the print-on-demand space, but really elevating that so we do have something that the end customer is willing to wear, and generating more brand impressions and willing to wear out, meaning long life of that garment. So it's not ending up in the landfill or wherever it ends up in the bottom drawer, right, where it just goes to rot for 10 years until you clean that closet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know.
And when Josh is saying minimum quantity of one, right, a truly POD experience, we're not talking about paying a setup cost to have to go and create this specific model, to have to then go get it created and go through this long process in hopes that you're going to sell it. It's truly minimum quantities of one, no minimum quantities, and there's no setup costs. You want to speak a little bit to the builder that we've worked on?
Yeah, it's the idea of single session purchasability. So I don't know if purchasability is a word, but we just made it one. So making sure that people can bring their art in. And when I say people, it can be a decorator, it can be a distributor, it can be the end consumer, right? So you can think about wherever art intake is happening. A lot of the friction in art today is back and forth. Like we have to time. And the more time you add to the process, the further away you get from transaction. And so it was super important to us, especially in the POD space, that art can be input, right? And then you can add dimension, 3D to the art in a builder. So if I'm doing the, Pepsi logo, because I need a multicolor logo, like I can raise the blue area to a different dimension than I can raise the red. I can add a different texture onto each area of that Pepsi logo. I can select the back that with different fabric backing colors. And ultimately I can see in real time a 3-dimensional logo through that builder that I can move straight to product, straight to a Fulfill Engine product build, out to an Order My Gear store, a Shopify store, wherever you're selling at with Fulfill Engine product build.
And that's all with sliders and just buttons to click too.
Yeah, I'm sure you've gone through the process before of where you have a logo and you want to get it, embroidered. All right. Well, you got to send it off to a digitizer because you can't digitize that logo yourself. It's really hard. Maybe if you're super skilled, but there's not many people in the world who are great at it. So you end up sending it to a digitizer and it comes back and then you're picking the thread colors and you know what? Oh, actually, I want to change this. I want it to be a puff embroidery. There's so much that goes into that back and forth, and you need to have lots of tribal or intimate knowledge on that process. What Josh just went through is something my 9-year-old can do. That she can get on there just like you see those apps where you're creating that on the fly. And that's what we really put a lot of time and investment into, making that user experience for creating that product to be really simple, where you're not feeling like you need some specialized graphic designer that you're going to have to hire just to create those logos. You'll be able to do it right in the platform.
And I think premium, when we talk premium, it's all about how it's perceived, right? And so just to speak to the attendees and the experience they had with it firsthand, I think is huge, right? Because they walked in, their first experience was registration. They got to see their logo done in this, and the reaction and the excitement to this was just unexplainable, right? They just saw their logo in a way we thought it would look cool in. So we showed like a fancy way to do it. And then we did it how they needed it done for their brand. And they got to customize a bag or a hat. And it's how it was perceived and the experience they had through the product that made it premium.
I'm just beaming ear to ear on this one. Like what I was hoping, like there's a lot of things I wanted out of this conference, but like from the jump, I wanted to get confidence that the market needs this, the market wants it. We've been telling ourselves that, right, as we've been developing it for a couple of years, and like from our experience in the space, I firmly believe that it was going to be phenomenal, and it just was. Like the reception was great. People were asking, how can I gain access to this? Obviously, like any new product, like we've invented a whole new category here. And so it's not just like, hey, this is a slightly better of this thing. Like, this is a new way altogether. It's a new category of decoration. And to me, that speaks to the innovative culture of our team, of Stalls, the history, and our willingness to do that. Like, I really didn't have a hand in any of this other than being the one who actually gets to show up and see the reactions. But like, the team that did this work, that they may watch this and like, we've changed the game for a lot of decorators. And the great thing is we need to start slow, right? Because we can't go out and just buy 1 million 3D printers and build unlimited capacity at once. But we are going to open this up through Fulfill Engine to first a select group of customers on a select group of products. Once we establish the confidence in that, we will probably either A, open up the product categories it can be applied to, as well as the customers through Fulfill Engine. And then eventually, for those customers that are decorating themselves and may not be using Fulfill Engine, I'd argue you probably should take a look. But just in case you just, really super small business and it's not a fit, we'll eventually start selling in loose patches so you can heat apply it with the top-bottom heat technology.
And I want to touch on the innovation, but before we move on to the innovation and like artwork and the way that these products are built, or the rise of AI, is that when you say 3D printing, I want to ensure that people know that this isn't like just one color or 2 or 3 colors. This is full color. There were some logos that we saw that had the gradients, the fades, the ability to put color on the edges and build it up, camo patterns all the way through the entire thickness of the patch, and patterns that sink down all the way in. It's really limitless. I know I am just as kind of creative myself. I can't wait to get my hands on it and see really the possibilities that we have here with this Liquid 3D product.
Yeah, I think it's what's possible and what's practical. And so we did both. We took interpretations of these logos to stretch what's possible. In reality, when most people engage with the product at the start, it'll probably be a practical application, but we will certainly what we can continue to develop on top of this technology is unbelievable with the capabilities. So you'll see, yes, full color, many colors, gradients, but you'll see even more coming from this technology. I can't share it all, but like the next 12 to 24 months in this new decorating technique is going to be unbelievable. And I'm happy to say it's patent pending from Stalls.
That's phenomenal. Now, backing it up kind of to the innovations in art, Jason, you had an incredible session here with Alejandro Lejeski from Customly, right? Where we saw personalization and AI really driving these e-commerce conversions. And you had a great story of even like a mat that you're able to customize, and the conversion rate on it once you put in these prompts and build this product for yourself, that you're like, well, I have to buy it now, right? I thought that was really a standout topic. Was there something in that talk that really stood out to you? I know we did AI on the rails, AI off the rails, all built on the front end. And like with AI being so new, and a lot of not just decorators, but a lot of people in any industry being maybe threatened by it. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the on the rails, off the rails line, and you've set me up perfectly. During our presentation, we did something a little risky. We went around into the audience and we built a open text prompt to generate an image, and it was like, oh, please let it be not something inappropriate, right? And what the person asked for, I think it was something like a race car that's purple with orange wheels, okay? Totally reasonable request. We got something that looked like nightmare fuel with actual oranges for the wheels. So it was a perfect representation of AI is not a tool that you want to just give someone with a blank canvas and say, good luck making your image, right? Giving them prompts and then having an engine that creates an on-the-rails type of artwork generation is very, very powerful. Also, on the personalization side of things, the story I told was about how my wife just bought a mat that I had just showed her for the presentation, and it was this awesome, like, you can pick how many dogs. This is powered by, Alejandro's awesome platform, Customly. And so on this site, she was able to say, I want this number of dogs. This dog is this breed. And then I want to say my grumpy husband. And now I have to look at that mat when I come home every time, right? And would she have made that herself in Canva or in Photoshop? No, because she wouldn't have come up with this great idea, or she just wouldn't have taken the time to do that, right? And so by bringing all that personalization to her and prompting her to say, oh yeah, this is a great idea. She went out and that product, that conversion, it happened. And so taking personalization both on the AI front of things, but as well as, personalization on the rails and giving them choices, still freedom to make, these personalized products. It can be really powerful, not just in that e-commerce, Shopify seller, but also personalization for corporate stores, personalization for teams, and taking that type of personalization and bringing it in to print on demand. It just, they makes so much sense. It goes so well together. And so it was a really fun session to have with Alejandro.
Yeah, that was a really good one. And then even following that one up, we talked about the scalability and how even bulk businesses are really going in and adapting to print on demand as well.
Yeah, we had an awesome session with Richard from MWW and then Rodney from US Colorworks. Both of these facilities are family-owned businesses who got their start. MWW is almost 100 years old. It's amazing. They started off as actual weavers, and they're now a leader in the POD space. The same for US Colorworks. They were a traditional contract bulk decorator who really had never done any print on demand. Now they're a leader in the space, and they all did it through automation and through optimization with their team, within their facility, with the decoration techniques, with direct-to-film, with DTG. But they've also elevated into other unique things. MWW has a loom. They literally weave on demand, like crazy, right? And Colorworks, they're doing engraving, they're doing UV printing, not just on soft goods, they're doing hard goods on demand. So it's just an incredible journey that both of those companies have taken. And I was so thankful to have them up on stage for them to share that with the group here. And they were able to pull it off with the right people and the right software. And you have to have those two things.
And you could see part of that US Colorworks journey, I guess, and the way that they get through 3,000 plus individual on-demand items a day. Over on our Stalls TV YouTube channel, we did a great shop visit where we brought Marshall Atkinson in, and we looked at that entire on-demand process, how really Fulfill Engine reduces those touch points, because that was something out of that talk with MWW and US Colorworks, where it's like the more you manually touch every single piece of the order, the less likely you are to profit. And I know that's something that at the heart of Fulfill Engine, that automation, that reduced touch points, those efficiencies are really built to help, yes, decorators that are doing 3,000 pieces, but it sets decorators who are maybe doing 10, 15, 25 pieces on demand daily have the ability to seamlessly scale to any capacity without the need for, expanding to, we need a huge warehouse. And now with like real estate at such a premium, space, electricity, all these utilities at a premium these days, being able to do more with the same, right? Not having to expand, not having to go higher, really truly puts so much power in any decorator or distributor's pocket, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of what we set out to do when we built our network of decorators. We have the trusted partners who can hit quality every single time. They can hit those SLAs and those turnaround times. But allowing other people to not have to invest in the equipment if they don't want to, or if they do want to and they want to bring it all in-house, that's the flexibility that we always want to provide. We don't want to ever tell someone, this is the equipment you should use. This is the business model you should do, because everyone's business is so different. Who are we to tell them how they should run their business? But we want to give you the tools to be able to decide, how do you want to run your business in the most optimized way? At the end of the day, if we can help you sell more, or we can help you fulfill more, then we're doing our jobs up here.
And we kind of looped around, right, to beyond even print on demand, right? We started to pull out the crystal ball a little bit today as we looked into what's hot on decorators' minds, of course, with touching on market trends. When we had Lane 7, Bella Canvas, and Momentic brands here on stage talking about how they stay on top of trends and the communication that they want from decorators just like you out there. If you see customers or you see, trends, or you're looking to even describe the garment, right? Because the 4.8 ounce, 100% ring spun, the end customer doesn't care about that. They want to know this is a relaxed fit. If you want, a more fitted size down, and like really put even the content on the product pages that help. And I thought that was so impactful because even what Maddie and Dave's session on day one, a lot of decorators or distributors aren't marketers. So like being able to see that, or how digital marketing has changed, how buying habits have changed, how the new Gen Z generation is driving these trends. And it all kind of translated into some fantastic questions today that you solicited, Josh, from the room, and we were able to address some of them. Was there anything surprising in that, or did you kind of think that's where the decorators' heads were going to be at, looking forward into the future and really the challenges that they were facing?
I thought there was interesting perspective. So we had a crowdsourced topic, actually 2 topics, where people submitted what was on their mind that they thought we needed to be discussing at this conference in the space. And one of those topics were all about the impact of tariffs and supply chain issues and whatnot. And so I really enjoyed hearing the perspective from the different roundtables that talked through that. And it really just showed the importance of manufacturing as close to where the end product gets shipped to as possible, and having a diversified model. So you're not, all of your eggs aren't in one basket from a manufacturing standpoint. Like the answer isn't just Mexico. It isn't just US. For most businesses, having access to either a network or establishing their own facilities in multiple countries. So they're not insulated from that change, but they can pivot and already be that far ahead to pivoting quickly. So I thought that was cool. The other session that I loved was the interview with Adam, the CFO over at Printful, and hearing the backstory on the Printify merger, 2 of the biggest brands in print on demand at the print on demand capital of the world, which we had a debate on. But I think we would probably settle it in Riga, Latvia. But I love that session because, to come up on stage in front of your partners and your peers and have that, I think shows a lot. And he was able to be very transparent and share like where their business is heading, why this is good for the community. And actually, when we had a conversation after the session, most people agreed that, mergers and consolidation, yes, it disrupts and creates change, but it's nothing to be afraid of because we're growing the overall pie. That was the overall sentiment.
Well, and the print-on-demand industry or decoration-on-demand industry is disruptive of itself in its own nature. You had a talk with Ross Hunter from Rock and about how, technology changes, buying habits change, and where bulk printing processes even still have a place in this print-on-demand future, too.
Yeah, my opening comments to the whole conference were, and they were like, we wanted to host this conversation, and so we can learn and grow alongside everybody else. Yes, we sat on some different panels. I helped to MC. These guys definitely gave some great perspective, but it was more about just learning and bringing the right people on stage to just figure out what we don't know or what we don't know to ask. And so in that session, I learned some things and I took away some ideas on, here's how we can be better as a business by being here on things we need to think about, and so that we can continue to grow all decoration techniques, because there is not a single size fits all. Direct-to-film transfers, I love them. I'm the biggest advocate. It's not a world takeover or a decoration takeover with them. Every decoration process is important. The bulk processes especially are critical, so they can do what they do best, and direct-to-film can do what it does best, or DTG, whatever the deco technique is. Like, they just all need to be easier to adopt and less complex. And so we have some work to do there as an industry.
Yeah, and I know I'm still so energized just from being in the room with everybody here, and I'm really looking forward to next year. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, number one, on stage, but leading the conversation, and then having a little sit down and taking some time to kind of digest and debrief on what just happened, because it was truly so incredible. So for those of you out there, of course, I think we're going to make this an annual thing, right? And while it may be limited in, I guess, the capacity of what we could fit in, definitely not everybody's going to be able to get in. But the leaders in the industry are definitely going to be here and be on the lookout for a lot more content that you'll see from our speakers or some interviews that we had with some of the just attendees or partners that were in the room, and kind of their insights into the print-on-demand industry. But of course, here at Stalls, All of our Heat Press for Profit podcasts are built to inspire you as a decorator and give you that insight from the experts and really where the industry is going. Jason, Jenna, and Josh, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And we will be seeing you next week, every single week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You could catch the Heat Press for Profit podcast right here. If you want to learn more about Fulfill Engine, head on over to stalls.com. Just type in Fulfill Engine right there in the search bar, or go to Google and just type in Fulfill Engine. I guarantee you'll be able to find it. You can check out that US Colorworks video over on the Stalls TV YouTube channel. Just search Stalls TV or US Colorworks on YouTube. But until next time, I'm Dave, and on behalf of all of our panelists here on the Heat Press for Profit podcast, we will see you next time. Happy pressing.
Thanks, Dave.